On March 8, 2014, a routine international passenger flight turned into a mystery that continues to puzzle the world to this day. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, a Boeing 777-200ER, took off from Kuala Lumpur International Airport destined for Beijing. However, it vanished from radar screens without a trace. 227 passengers and 12 crew members were on that plane that would never reach its intended destination. The last known communication from the pilots was a simple, "Good night, Malaysian 370. But what happened next remains a mystery that has left the world in suspense for 9 years now. The search for Flight 370 spanned from the Indian Ocean west of Australia to Central Asia, covering an area larger than some countries. It was a race against time, a race against fading hope. For 3 long years, experts scour the ocean's depths and vast expanses of land for any sign of the missing plane. Families of the passengers and crew held on to the thinnest thread of hope, desperate for answers. A family member of the passengers said, "We just want to know what happened to our loved ones. The uncertainty is unbearable." Another stated, "Every day we pray for some closure, for the truth to be revealed." Theories about the disappearance of Flight 370 emerged like shadows in the night, each one casting doubt on the already heartbreaking mystery. Was it a mechanical failure, as some suggested, or maybe the plane was hijacked? Or did the pilot commit suicide and kill everyone? Let's uncover the chilling mystery of the MH370 disappearance. It was a typical international flight operating from Kuala Lumpur International Airport in Malaysia to Beijing Capital International Airport in China. MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur on March 8, 2014 at 12:41 a.m. local time. The flight was operated by a Boeing 777-200ER aircraft, considered one of the safest and most reliable in the aviation industry. Initially, the flight proceeded as usual, with the pilot and co-pilot communicating with air traffic controllers and following their flight plan. The senior captain, Zahari Ahmed Shah, age 53, was one of Malaysian Airlines' most experienced and seasoned pilots. Accompanying him was the first officer, Farik Hamid, age 27, in a training flight to attain full certification as a pilot. For the first 20 minutes of the flight, everything proceeded as planned. Captain Zahari reported normal operations at 35,000 feet, just 11 minutes before the aircraft entered Vietnamese airspace. However, at 01:08 in the morning, while crossing the Malaysian coastline over the South China Sea towards Vietnam, the aircraft mysteriously vanished from radar. There was no further contact with MH370, and it suddenly became the world's most famous aviation mystery. News headlines worldwide reported the startling disappearance of Malaysian Airlines flight MH370. Everyone was asking a single question: what happened to the plane? In just a half minute after entering Vietnamese airspace at 01:21 a.m., Malaysian Airlines flight MH370 vanished from the radar screens. At first, the Malaysian air traffic controller didn't notice, assuming the plane had moved out of radar range into Vietnamese airspace. Meanwhile, Vietnamese air traffic control saw MH370 enter their airspace, but then mysteriously disappear from their radar. They tried contacting the plane with no success, so they alerted Kuala Lumpur. They told them what became the headline the next morning: MH370 has vanished. Unfortunately, it took 4 hours for an emergency response to begin, starting at 06:32 a.m., which was when MH370 was supposed to arrive in Beijing, but it never did. Investigation later revealed that someone inside the cockpit deliberately shut down the aircraft's transponder, which is a device that helps radar systems track and identify the plane, and this made most people point fingers at the pilot. Crucially, no distress call or emergency signal was transmitted from the aircraft. It seemed to vanish from the sky without any warning, and it makes people think that this vanishing was probably something someone did intentionally. Subsequent analysis of available data suggested that after disappearing from radar, the plane made a sharp turn to the left, deviating from its planned flight path toward Beijing. An extensive international search operation immediately kicked off in the South China Sea, involving 34 ships and 28 aircraft from 7 countries, all trying to find the missing plane. Despite their efforts, no clue about the plane was found. Then, 4 days later, on March 12th, reports emerged that military radar had tracked MH370 at 02:22 a.m. when it vanished. But what it revealed was shocking. It showed the plane not over the South China Sea, but near the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, west of Malaysia and over the Strait of Malacca, flying in the opposite direction of Beijing. Later, satellite data provided a new lead. The plane tried to communicate with a satellite, a routine practice for large planes, but it was only an attempted connection, registered without revealing the plane's location. Investigators used the satellite's antenna angle, which changed when the plane's signal was received, to narrow down the possible area where the plane might be. This satellite data showed 7 satellite handshakes, each linked to a communication attempt. These created 7 circles on a map showing possible locations at different times. The last circle, the 7th, marked the final contact between the plane and the satellite. Using this data, investigators calculated that the plane might be within an area called the 7th Arc, extending 2,000 kilometers west of Australia across a vast unexplored ocean. Several search operations were conducted, but surface searches yielded no results as the plane likely sank into the ocean. Deep sea searches, including a costly Australian-led operation, ended in 2017 with no success. So where did the plane go? Finally, in 2015, a piece of debris from MH370, a flaperon, washed up on the Reunion Island, lending credibility to the theory that the plane crashed in the Indian Ocean. In 2018, Malaysia hired Ocean Infinity, a U.S. company, to search for MH370 with a no-find, no-fee agreement. Despite advanced technology and mapping the ocean floor, they found nothing. After all these years, the experts are unsure if they can even find the wreck or not. Now the question arises, what happened to the plane? Why did the plane take a 180-degree turn? Why was the connection with the control tower cut off? Is the pilot responsible for the crash? Various theories emerged, including the possibility that Captain Zahari Ahmed Shah deliberately crashed the plane due to personal issues. The background of Zahari Ahmed Shah was also analyzed to see if he ever showed questionable behavior. But he was one of the most famous and credible pilots. Some people argue that ending the connection with the control tower was done intentionally. Then the pilot took a 180-degree turn and crashed the plane into the South China Sea. But why would a pilot want to kill himself and all the passengers? Some theories also suggested that there could be a technical issue in the plane. However, the absence of any technical problems on record makes the mechanical failure theory less plausible. The transponder being deliberately turned off raises questions about the crew's intentions. Pilot suicide became a chilling possibility, with Captain Zahari Ahmed Shah coming under suspicion. After analyzing his room, the researchers revealed that Zahari Ahmed Shah used to play a game on his PC where he had created a route for the plane, and the route he had created was the same as where MH370 headed and vanished. So did he intentionally steer the plane off course, sealing the fate of everyone on board? The unusual flight path and the transponder being manually disabled suggest a deliberate act, but what could have driven a seasoned pilot to such an extreme act? This theory was rejected by experts due to no evidence whatsoever. In response to assuming pilot as the suspect, many other theories emerged. But with no closure, the mystery led to many conspiracies. Some people suggest that the plane was hijacked, and to be sure, without making a claim, the experts did all the research about the background of all passengers. Turns out there were 2 passengers with stolen passports on the plane. However, after much research, it was clear that the 2 passengers who were originally from Iran were going to get a job, so it was declared that there were no terrorists on the plane. If not hijacking, then what about the idea of remote takeover? Could Flight 370 have been commandeered by someone far away from the cockpit? There's also another theory suggesting oxygen deficiency. The speculations were made saying that there was oxygen deficiency in the plane. This could have made everyone, including passengers, crew, and pilot, unconscious. The plane kept moving on autopilot and crashed once the fuel ran out. Boeing denied having such issues that can lead to oxygen deficiency, leaving investigators with more questions than answers. Some even speculated that Flight 370 had been secretly flown to the United States military base on the atoll of Diego Garcia in the British Indian Ocean Territory, a clandestine operation shrouded in mystery. There is no concrete evidence to support this theory as well. Could extraterrestrial beings have had a hand in Flight 370's vanishing act? But let's be clear, this theory is widely regarded as nothing more than a conspiracy theory. As the world watched and waited, the disappearance of Flight 370 remained a puzzle without a solution. Families clung to the memories of their loved ones, hoping for a breakthrough that would finally bring them closure. As the years turned into a decade, the mystery of Flight 370 remained unsolved. The world, left in suspense, continued to search for answers, for the truth that might never be revealed. Fast forward to 2022, and there is renewed hope. Retired aerospace engineer Richard Godfrey claims to have solved the mystery using radio wave technology. He believes MH370 rests precisely on the seventh arc, submerged 4 kilometers beneath the ocean's surface. While some critics question his methodology, he insists that a new search within a smaller 40 nautical mile radius could yield results within a year, offering a promising path to solve the mystery that has puzzled so many. But the experts say the wreck can't be found in a single spot. The waves might have taken the pieces far beyond where they can search. With that, Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 remains one of the most perplexing mysteries in aviation history, with no definitive answers about its disappearance, the fate of its passengers and crew, or the exact location of the wreckage. Despite extensive search efforts and investigations, many questions remain unanswered, leaving the world to wonder about the true story behind this tragic event.